Welcome, children. Today, the poem that we are going to read is poem number 2 from your book First Flight, Fire and Ice by Robert Frost. The previous poem that you read, Dust of Snow, was also from the same poet, Robert Frost, who is an American poet and is recognized for his choosing of the object which are considered to be ordinary and are a part of nature, yet deal with metaphorically and symbolically to deeper meanings. This poem number 2, Fire and Ice, is also a highly symbolic poem by Robert Frost. Some say the world will end in fire, some say in ice. From what I have tasted of desire, I hold with those who favor fire. But if it had to perish twice, I think I know enough of hate to say that for destruction, ice is also great and would suffice. Again, a short poem, yet with a highly symbolic meaning and recognition of fire and ice, two opposite in characteristics and traits. Both the elements, if you pay attention to fire and ice, hold the qualities opposite to each other. Fire is hot while ice is cold. These two opposite objects are put in together by Robert Frost to bring in the symbolism and the central theme of the poem regarding destruction of the world. Now, there are many theories that speak about how the world will end ultimately. The end is inevitable, we all know, but it may be turned to ashes by fire or frozen to death by ice. So these are the two different hypothetical phenomena of the world which are being brought in together by the poet in order to discuss the ultimate end of the world, which according to him is going to be either by ice or by fire. The poet discusses the profound idea that the world would end in two ways, either by ice or by fire. Both components are compared with itself, destructing human emotions that are hatred and desires. As I said in the beginning, that the poem has got symbolism, and the two elements here, fire and ice, are personified in the poem in order to bring in the symbolism. That is, fire symbolizes desire and ice symbolizes hatred. These two elements are giving mind and power, are taken together. Humans' emotions and humans' desires are brought in together in order to show the destructive power of both the elements, fire and ice. Now, the poem begins with the hypothetical saying, as some say the world will end in fire, some say in ice. Now, if you see that some say the world will end in fire, from what I have tasted of desire, I hold with those who favor fire, but if it had to perish twice, I think I know enough of hate. As I said, the symbolism in the poem here refers to fire with desire and ice with hatred. Both are human emotions and both have the power to destruct the world according to the poet. Now, the poem here underpins the philosophy that we let our emotions rule us. And these emotions are competent enough to bring the world to a catastrophic end, that is, the destructive and painful end. Fire and ice, according to the poet, has got the capability and the power to be used as weapons to kill the world and bring the world to an end, a destructive end. Some say the world will end in fire, some say in ice. But the poet Robert Frost goes along with the idea of the world ending with the fire. He says that the fire in itself is strong enough to bring the world to an end. Of course, you do not have to forget, being a good reader, that the fire here does not only mean the fire in literal sense, but also symbolically, and has also been personified in order to bring the desires of human beings into notion. The poet, from his personal experience of strong passions, fury, conflict, and cruelty, all symbolizes the destructive power of fire, can say that the world will perish because of evil or wicked nature of man himself. Man will set the world on fire because the man is actually full of strong passions, strong desires, fury, conflict, and cruelty in his nature. Fire of violent desires will put an end to this world. But, he says, if the world is recreated or saved from fire and faces the danger of death again, the poet thinks that it will die of ice. Ice here stands for coldness, indifference, hatred, and insensitivity. The poet has seen enough of hatred in the world and enough to kill all warmth of love and brotherly feeling. The poem revolves around the theme that how the world will meet its end, by human beings' desires or human beings' hatred towards each other. Whatever they may choose, either desire or hatred, both have the strong power to bring the world to a destructive end. The two different views are that the world will go up in flames or be frozen to death, if we talk about the literal sense. But it is not just talking about the scientific sense behind the end of the world by the heating rays of sun or bringing in fire, or the entire world becoming frozen. Desire here means greed, anger, lust, or jealousy. The poet holds the view that fire will bring about the end of the world. But if it had to perish twice, which means that the world is fated to end a second time, if at all, then hate here refers to coldness in human relationships and loss of warm feelings for one another. Man's apathy towards his fellow beings will ultimately lead to the end of the world. And he says that it would suffice, which means the same as be enough or adequate in order to bring the world to an end. Robert Frost deals with a hypothetical question about the bleak future of the world in this poem. There is a growing fear that our race is working towards the destruction of all life and the world at large. There are two ways how it can come about. Fire and ice are our worst enemies because human beings are full of either desires or hatred. Fire may be natural as global warming or forest fire, it can be man-made too through atomic wire. But if not fire, all life on the earth may be destroyed with the coming of ice age. The melting of the ice at the poles may submerge many countries, and the coldness of human relationships and the lack of the principles of love and brotherhood symbolically can also be a potent cause of destructive world war. So this poem deals with both the components, fire and ice, symbolically dealing with the desires and hatred, the human emotions. Those are so strong and have the power to destruct the world. In contrast to each other, desire and hatred, that is fire and ice, deals with the deep idea that the world will either come to an end by fire or by ice, which I repeat symbolically stands for desires or hatred. These are some of the literary devices used in the poem. The rhyming scheme is ABA, ABC, BCB. Assonance, which is the repetition of the vowel sounds in the same line. The long sound of O in I hold with those who favor fire is an example of assonance. Alliteration, which is the repetition of a consonant sound. Favor, fire, world, will are all examples of alliteration. Imagery is also used in order to bring in the five senses and arouse the feeling of images around while reading the poem. So the example is, some say the world will end in fire, or to say that for destruction ice is also great, are both the example of imagery. We have anaphora in this. Some say in the beginning of the two initial lines of the poem, which are repeated. And then, as I said, that fire and ice are personified in the poem, hence are the example of personification. And because there is a continuity of the same line to the next without any punctuation over here or the clause ending over here, which is an example of enjambment. From what I have tasted of desire, I hold with those who favor fire. I hold with those who favor fire proves that the poet goes along with the saying or the hypothetical saying of the world will coming to an end by fire, because he believes that human desires are the main reason of destruction in the world if we deal with it symbolically. The desires let us even kill others, taking lives of others. And human beings are so full of desires from head to toe that they forget everything, and they forget humanity, and they forget everything that is good in himself, and leading the world to an end. This world also just not literally means to the world, to the globe, but also to the man himself. We are responsible by our actions, because of our actions that are the reason behind our desires, because our desires and the hatred that we hold for other human beings are the reason why we indulge into activities that cause destruction, not just of the world, but of ourselves. We kill our soul, we kill all the goodness in ourselves, hence lead to the destruction of the entire humanity. Thank you.